Hello and welcome along to episode 83 of the All Things Leeds podcast with myself, Ed McIntyre. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, Charles Foster. Charles, hello, mate.
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I've not been up very long, but I'm lazy these days, and I've got a bit of time off work.
These days, you've been lazy for the majority of the time that I've known you.
Yeah, I think that's a bit debatable, to be honest.
Did you have a good Christmas, mate?
I did, yeah, enjoyed it. Spent a bit of time with my family. That was nice. What about you?
Yeah, just spending time with family. It was pretty just a normal Christmas, really. Did you get anything exciting for Christmas?
I wouldn't say exciting. I got what I wanted, a lot of clothes and that, and
Yeah.
I finally got myself a Leeds shirt for this season, so that was nice. But,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, new pair of trainers. But it was I won't say hugely exciting. What about you?
I mean, I got some nice stuff, but I must say the coolest present that I got was for my parents, and it's a pair of socks that on the bottom of the socks, on one of them it says "shush," and on the other it says "I'm watching football." And it's well thought of because every time I'm watching football, I'm always telling my family, be quiet, I'm watching the football. And now I've got socks to tell them that. So, it's a well thought out gift. And, it's still well thought out gifts that you appreciate a lot more. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I must say, though, every Christmas, I only ask for one thing, and it's just a calendar for the following year. Is that a sign that I'm getting old?
Yeah, well, I think it might be.
Yeah. I mean, the calendar is necessary, though, isn't it? A Leeds United calendar. It's on the wall already. The new Leeds United calendar for the 2021 year. But yeah, we will be recording another podcast episode before the new year. Looking ahead to the Spurs game, but we've got loads coming up in this show. We'll of course be analysing Leeds United's 1-0 win over Burnley at Elland Road, as well as looking ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on West Brom away at the Hawthorns on Tuesday evening. We've got a bit of news to go over as well. It may not be that long of an episode, but no, it should be good anyways. Here on the All Things Leeds podcast. Well, as always, let's start by reflecting on Leeds United's previous game, which was that 1-0 win over Burnley at Elland Road last Sunday. Charles, this game certainly wasn't a classic, but it was a job well done from Leeds United in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to get the clean sheet was very important, I think, for them, team morale, and I think to pick up another 3 points against a team that's going to be down there. So we've beaten Sheffield United, we've beaten Burnley now, we beat Villa, who I think, even though they're having a decent season, I think Villa will still end up mid-table. So we beat Newcastle, so we're beating teams that are kind of around us and will be around us by the end of the season. So yeah, I think it was very pleasing. And as I tweeted out after the game, we're at 20 points now. So we're halfway home. So we're at the halfway point. That's the way I see it. And so I know there's still plenty of points to play for as well. So I was very pleased with the 3 points, which more than so than the performance, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, games like this, especially, for a team staying up, it's results over performances. You want the 3 points. The 3 points that we picked up on Sunday is the most important thing. So, I'm not too bothered about the performance, really. We picked up 3 points, and I'm very happy, as you say, we've beaten Burnley, away challenging down there, really. So, it's all good, really. But, I don't think Leeds were particularly great on Sunday, especially in that second half. I thought the second half was appalling. We were quite sloppy on the ball, gave it away a few times. I thought Click in particular was really poor. Does a Click need maybe a game or two out of the team? Because he's been quite poor over recent weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he has been consistent for us over the majority of this season. But it might be time to give Shackleton a bit of a run in the team, see what he can do, because I thought he had a few nice touches when he came on, to be honest.
Yeah. Although Bielsa sees Shackleton as a right back, doesn't he? Because when Shackleton came on, Dallas moved into centre midfield and Shackleton was right back.
I know. I prefer Shackleton in midfield, though, personally. I don't think he's got the height or the... he's got the pace, but I don't think he's got the kind of defensive attributes to play at right back. I prefer him, in the kind of 6 role in midfield, where Click plays. What was I saying? I've lost my train of thought now, mate. You've interrupted Click in the team. Yeah, I didn't think he was great. No, I thought it was his kind of off performance meant that Calvin Phillips in the back three had a lot more to do, and they were having to make a lot more aerial challenges and a lot more interceptions they would normally need to do. So yeah, I don't think it was great.
Yeah, and every time he got the ball outside the box, he just skied it over the stand onto Elland Road. Yeah, I thought Click was quite poor, and yeah, I agree with you. It'd be great to see the likes of Shackleton get more of a run out over the next couple of games. And I agree with you as well. Shackleton is much better in midfield, although he does do a good job at right back. But no, Leeds weren't great, but we didn't have to be great in this game because Burnley weren't too good either. I don't think. Burnley lacked creativity and quality going forward, and the amount of defensive errors that Burnley made was unbelievable. I thought that they were quite good defensively. Nick Pope and Tarkowski and Ben Mee. I think that they're decent players, but they made a lot of defensive errors in this game, which allowed us to somewhat capitalise in the first half. Of course, we only scored one goal, but we created plenty of chances from their defensive errors. But no, it wasn't a pretty game at all. It was quite a scrappy game. Do you think the pitch, the state of the pitch was shocking? Do you think that had a part to play in that?
It did seem to be a lot of the time there was a lot of slipping going on. I did notice a lot of slipping, mainly from our team, to be fair. But there was a lot of people falling over, and I did think it looked a bit downtrodden and waterlogged the pitch. I heard they were going to replace it in the summer, but because of COVID, they ended up not doing that. But I think it'll have to be replaced next summer. I think there's because I think they put it in 2012 or 2013. It was a 5-year pitch, so we've already had more than what they said we were going to get out of it. I think we're going to put a new one in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought this the pitch was quite poor, really, but no, it was a scrappy game. But it was defensive resilience that won us the game, which we haven't been able to say too often this season.
No, we haven't. Even though we have got 5 clean sheets out of our 15 games, so you wouldn't think we'd be dreadful defensively, but we've conceded I think it's the joint most in the league. Conceded 30 goals so far this season, which is a lot. So yeah, every clean sheet is valuable, and conceding fewer goals is valuable, not just for keep the goal difference all right, but as I was saying earlier, morale for the defence and the rest of the team. I think it was good to kind of keep a shutout, and I think it'll put us in good stead going into the next game. Unfortunately, we've got the old new manager bounce to contend with, but we'll get onto that later. I think it'd be, if we can get another clean sheet in the next game, we're setting ourselves up well, and I think we just have to iron out the few issues we've got in the team at the moment that we displayed in that second half.
Yeah. And I feel as though, throughout the game, we were still conceding sloppy set pieces. I think Burnley had a good chance in that first half, with Dallas's challenge just giving away a silly free kick in a decent position for them to cross it in. And, we've mentioned it, quite a lot in this podcast, just cut out those silly mistakes and, try and keep set pieces to a minimum. And, we should be fine. But no, it's pleasing to keep a clean sheet, and it should do, the defence a world of good confidence-wise, because we have been conceding a lot of goals. So to keep a clean sheet heading into the next game against West Brom, who don't score many at all, it should put us in good stead. Liam Cooper tweeted after the game, it was beautifully ugly, and it showed that we can go to the trenches if needed, and it really did, didn't it? It showed our character, our fight, and belief, to win the game despite not playing too well.
Yeah, I think it's kind of demonstrated a bit of mental resolve that might have been lacking in previous games, which is good to see. But you have to say that it wasn't pretty, and we did give the ball away a lot unnecessarily, and a lot in that second half. And we didn't really get any kind of flow going at all. And I don't want to say we were fortunate, because I don't think we were fortunate, because I don't think Burnley had the chances they ended up creating for themselves in the kind of dying few minutes, other than the odd set piece. Well, they weren't dangerous chances. They weren't one-on-ones. They were just, near post shots and firing it into the box. It wasn't huge amounts of danger. I never felt that any of them were going to go in. Even when Bezra had to make that decent-ish save, the one where he slightly dives over to his left-hand side. I think he died. His left-hand side, not ours, facing the goal. I thought other than that, we never really felt under any danger, other than the last 5 minutes where there was like a corner or a free kick every two minutes. Every couple of seconds, it seemed. Every notification I got was another free kick or another corner. I thought, this is going to happen. We're going to chuck it away here, but
yeah,
didn't happen. was good.
Yeah, yeah, it was very nervy, but yeah, the 3 points in the end is all that matters. And if every game's like that, if we're still picking up 1-0 wins in every single game, then yeah, I'm not going to complain too often. We pointed out in the previous episode that set pieces could cost us in this game, against the likes of Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, especially without club captain Liam Cooper in the side, who was, one of our best players at set pieces. And the team on Sunday saw Pascal Struijk replace Liam Cooper in defence, so it was a back three of Ayling, Phillips and Struijk in a 3-1-3-3 formation against the front two of Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes. Now, Charles, when the lineups were revealed, what were your initial thoughts? Because I feel as though a lot of Leeds fans were quite worried heading into the game, looking at the starting 11. They were quite nervous.
There was a lot of bit of a Leeds focus on the Burnley starting 11 as well, because obviously Charlie Taylor and Chris Wood were both starting, which is that period where Burnley just appeared to be signing every one of our players, like, in a Norwich-esque kind of style. So I was slightly worried about the Charlie Taylor's crossing ability. I thought he actually had a decent game in general, the Taylor, as it went on. And I was worried about the aerial threat of Chris Wood. And I always think Ashley Barnes, even though he is a really whinging player, he's always been good. I've always rated him as a player. I think he's probably quite an underrated striker, Ashley Barnes. But so there was a little bit of threat there. And I personally think Nick Pope is a better keeper than Jordan Pickford anyway. So I knew we were going to have it tough when we were going down the other end, as Pablo Hernandez found out. So yeah, I was slightly worried about their lineup, and I was a little bit wary that we wouldn't be able to stand up to the aerial challenge. Actually, we did quite well.
Yeah, we certainly did. Of course, Diego Llorente wasn't involved at all in the side, despite Bielsa saying that Llorente was ready to return. But following the game on Sunday, Bielsa said that Llorente had a setback in the week and is out again, and he'll miss the West Brom game on Tuesday. We'll get our thoughts on all that later. But no, there may be some doubts. People a bit wary of how well we do defensively, but those doubts were put to bed. Just minutes into the game, it was a fantastic start from Leeds United. We, of course, won a penalty inside the first 5 minutes. Luke Ayling playing a fantastic ball forward to find Patrick Bamford, and he was taken out by goalkeeper Nick Pope. This was a definite penalty, wasn't it, Charles?
I think it is on grounds of excessive force, and I think he does collide. The problem is, from pretty much every angle, you can't really tell what he hits first, the man or the ball. But even if he does get the ball first, the excessive force it brings him down with, these days, you're going to give away a penalty for that. So yeah, when I saw it in real time, I thought it was a penalty. But I can understand why Burnley might feel a little bit aggrieved if he does get the ball first. But those are the rules. Excessive force is given as a foul, and a foul in the box is a penalty. So you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel as though, the fact that Nick Pope didn't get a yellow card, then, that kind of puts to bed, the whole, wow, he got the ball kind of thing. Because, yeah, he got a nick on the ball, but he still wiped out Bamford, just collided into him. So, yeah, no, I don't think there was any arguments there. I think it was a definite penalty. Click didn't take it, which I was quite surprised about. He's usually a penalty taker. But instead, it was Patrick Bamford who stepped up and drilled the ball into that top right-hand corner, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way. This was a great penalty for Bamford to score against his former club. That's now 10 goals for Bamford this season after 15 games. Charles, Bamford is a man who's not short on confidence at the moment, is he?
No, and I think he was saying in his post-match interview, Patrick Bamford, that basically him and Click take the penalties, but when one of them misses, it goes to the other one. And obviously, Click missed his one last time out, but ended up, putting it away on the retake against Newcastle. Sorry, not last time out before that. The last penalty. So Bamford said he was under the impression that Click was still going to take it, but obviously Click gave him the ball. And I think, given the Click's form and confidence at the moment compared to Bamford's, it was probably the smart move to give him the penalty. And it was a great penalty, top corner. Pretty much unsavable, unless you know exactly where it's going beforehand, which of course you don't. Some classic Michael Owen commentary from myself there. Yeah, it was a great pen, and it gave us a great kind of lift at the start of the game, because we knew we had a bit of something to defend, and we also knew that the kind of attritional game that Burnley play, that they would not want to go down, got a goal down so early. They'd want to, kind of grind it out at 0-0 for a while and then hit us with a crap set piece, which was honestly what I was expecting. So to go 1-0 up so early on was great.
Yeah, definitely, and smashing penalty for Bamford. I was not expecting Bamford to score 10 goals this season, but to score it, after just 15 games, before the new year. Yeah, he's having an exceptional season, is Patrick Bamford, and it's really pleasing to see. And he should definitely be the man on penalties from now on, 100%. Well, 19 minutes into the game, Burnley did have the ball in the back of the net, but the goal was ruled out by the referee. What happened was a free kick was delivered into the box. Meslier and Ben Mee both jumped to try and win the ball and clattered into each other. The ball dropped to Ashley Barnes, who smashed the ball in. But the free kick was given to Leeds United, so no goal to Burnley. Charles, were Leeds United quite fortunate here?
I thought so. But they were doing this the whole game long, I noticed. It was either Ben Mee or it was Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes or Westwood Wood. Every time a ball was lofted into the box from a free kick or a corner, one of them would jump up and back up into Meslier as hard as they could and then fall on the floor and whinge. And they did it. They did it all game long. This one, keepers do tend to put their knees out anyway when they jump in to protect themselves. Obviously, Deitch and me were both moaning in the post-match about it. I'd be annoyed if it wasn't given, if the goal wasn't given for us. But the thing is that the whistle goes and then Barnes fires in. So the VAR can't look at it. But if the whistle gets blown, why is he taking the shot in the first place? It's a bit confusing to me, but I would be annoyed if that wasn't given for us personally. Just because it's not actually a foul on Meslier at all. I know he's jumping up into him, and I know it's obviously a tactic. But yeah, I don't think it was a foul. So I'd be annoyed, but the kind of look you get is this is the kind of look you get in the Premier League with referees. Sometimes you get it massively go against you. Sometimes it goes for you. It happens every week. It's variable. So I'm sure Burnley will get a benefit of the doubt at some point, but because every team does. So even though I think out of all the managers in the Premier League, other than maybe Jurgen Klopp, I don't see anyone moaning more about referees every week than Sean Dyche.
Yeah, neither do I. But if that was against us, then I'd be really disappointed. A lot of people saying that it was the other way around. It was Meslier fouling Ben Mee. I don't think it was. I don't think it was a foul at all, really, from anyone. Both men went for the ball fairly, collided with each other. It's a 50-50, and we see it many, many times. Players jumping for the ball, with clash of heads, and it's not foul for either one of them. So I don't think it was a foul. I just think it should have been play on, and the goal should have stood. But no, the referee thought otherwise, blew the whistle, and as you say, VAR cannot look at the incident. But no, I feel as though Leeds United were quite lucky there that the goal was ruled out. But no, 1-0. It remained to Leeds. Leeds pushed for a second goal. Harrison was denied a goal by the leg of Patrick Bamford after Rafinha pounced on a defensive error. Rafinha also had a good chance after Alioski floated the ball over from the left. Ben Mee's header fell to Rafinha, who hit it first time, hit it well. And the keeper saved well. And just before half-time, Rodrigo had a free header 5 yards out, but headed over. So, Rodrigo should have done better there, but 1-0 to Leeds at half-time. And I actually thought we were quite good in that first half, to be fair. What about you?
I thought we should have been at least 2-0 up. I thought we were good. I thought we were pretty fluid. I thought we had the chances to go, and I didn't think they had any kind of measurable chances, to be honest. I didn't feel any kind of danger from them. There was the odd set piece where you were a little bit worried, and obviously they disallowed goal. But I thought it was fair that we were, ahead. Ahead at half time.
Yeah, I feel as though it definitely was fair. Second half though, it was all Burnley. Really, Leeds were really poor, especially going forward. Burnley created many chances, nothing too clear cut, but some chances to make us uncomfortable as Leeds United fans. But our defence and Mezia were just so solid. Phillips at centre-back was great. Pascal Struijk, for a 21-year-old, he was fantastic. He's just growing with every single game he plays. Maturing really well is Pascal Struijk. And, Meziev again, I thought was brilliant. I thought it was much better at set pieces. He did, kind of drop the ball quite a few times, but I feel as though, his overall game here, I thought Meziev was quite good. I've been critical of, his positioning and, his decision making at set pieces. But no, I thought Meziev was really good in this game. And, overall, Charles, it was a very, very solid defensive display, wasn't it?
Yeah, I do think it was. I do think it was solid, and I do think it was, a good base to build on, and it was the kind of performance you want to see a backline put in after basically getting piped by your rivals the week before. It was, for lack of a better word, it was nice to see. It was nice to see us keep a clean sheet. I was pleased with how we dealt with the kind of Burnley forays into the box, and as I say, even though Burnley were fairly dominant and weren't really, they still weren't creating any clear cut chances. It was all half chances and near post efforts and things that that you'd expect to be saved. There was never a point other than maybe that Rodriguez one where he blazed it over the bar in the second half, where I thought, yeah, we might concede here. I thought we were generally pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and it was definitely a good response from that 6-2 defeat to Manchester United the week before. Definitely a good response. It was nervy towards the end, but no, 1-0 win in the end. Our first 1-0 home top flight win in 33 games since February the 8th, 2003, when we beat West Ham. A fifth clean sheet of the season, of course, and a back-to-back home wins for the first time this season. And 3 points moves us up into 12th on 20 points, just a handful of points behind the likes of Chelsea and Manchester City. But the most pleasing thing is that we are 9 points above the relegation zone now. We're comfortably in mid-table. There's nothing to worry about, is there here?
Never say nothing, but we're looking good at the halfway point, as I was saying earlier. You need to hit certain milestones. Hitting 20 points at this stage of the season is good. We've still got another game before the end of the year, the calendar year, I should say. So we could possibly extend that, but we need to just rack up the points as quickly as possible. So as soon as we get to the magic 40, then we can start relaxing a bit and turning on the style and trying a few things.
Yeah.
So we just need to keep putting points on the board, and I think there's definitely 3 worse teams than us in this league. I mean, there just is, definitely.
Yeah, I'd say there's more than 3 teams who are worse than us, really. But no, 20 points, halfway, as you say, to the magic 40. No newly promoted side has ever been relegated, having won as many as 20 points from their opening 15 games of the Premier League season. Another record for us to break there. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Another stat for you from Andrew Dalton, of course, on Twitter. And in scoring 25 goals in their first 15 Premier League games, Leeds have equalled the record set by a newly promoted side in the Premier League, which was Nottingham Forest in season 1994-95.
Yeah.
So, no, pleasing all round. Who was your man of the match from Sunday's game?
I'd probably give it to Calvin Phillips. Thought it was just a lot of interceptions, a lot of little touches here and there to, put off Burnley attacks or at least delay them to give us time to get back into shape. I thought there was plenty of defensive clearances. I thought it was great in that kind of that middle of that back three, sweeping up anything that Struijk and Luke Ayling didn't get their heads on. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent as well. Playing at centre back isn't a position he usually plays. He usually sits in front of the back four. But yeah, I thought Calvin Phillips was excellent and definitely my man of the match as well. I put out a poll on Twitter, of course, after the game. I do it after every Leeds United win, asking Leeds United fans for their man of the match. And the 4 options in the poll were Patrick Bamford, Illan Meslier, Calvin Phillips and Pascal Struijk. And Calvin Phillips has won the poll, 58%. Illan Meslier in second with 24%. Patrick Bamford and Pascal Struijk both on 9%. So yeah, the majority of people agree with us that Calvin Phillips was the man of the match. Andy Thompson, though, in reply to that tweet, said, "How is Meslier not winning this?" And I certainly, scratched my head at that, thinking, well, Meslier had a really good game. I thought it would be a lot closer than, than Meslier just getting 24% of the vote. But people thought Callum Phillips was the better player. Another guy replied saying that it was informed that the referee was the man of the match. I mean, the referees definitely did perform well for Leeds United.
I wouldn't agree with that, because I think in general I thought, look, the major decisions you can make arguments for either way, but I thought general fouls in the game and things like that, I thought the ref was pretty fair for the majority of them. But both ways, when we were fouling, when they were fouling, they were mostly given. The big decisions are a bit controversial, but generally the fouls and set pieces and cards given out throughout the game, I thought were pretty fair.
Yeah, so do I. I think it's just Burnley fans trying to find some excuses, really, and saying, "Oh yeah, Leeds United only beat an injury-riddled Burnley side." Well, we're injury-riddled as well. We've got plenty of centre backs out. 3 senior centre backs out. So we've got plenty of injuries ourselves. So yeah, I think it's just Burnley fans finding excuses. I feel as though the big decisions are debatable, but the referee I thought overall had a fair game. But no, 1-0 win here for Leeds United. Really nice to keep a clean sheet and get the 3 points there. Leeds, of course, have one last game to play before the end of the year, and that is away against West Brom on Tuesday evening. Charles and I will preview that game later on in the show. Well, not much news to get into in this episode, but we will discuss the fact that 27-year-old defender Diego Llorente was not involved at all against Burnley on Sunday, despite Bielsa telling us before the game that he was ready to return. Now, following that 1-0 win against Burnley on Sunday, Bielsa said that Llorente had a setback in the week, and the Spain international will miss the West Brom game on Tuesday evening. And Liam Cooper as well, you'd expect him to be out for the next few games. No clue on how long he's going to be out for, but with an abdominal strain, you'd expect him to be out for a number of weeks. But no, Charles, despite having Robin Koch out for 3 months, Diego Llorente and Liam Cooper missing the next few games, I'm not too nervous, because after Sunday's display, I've got loads of confidence in this defence. Yeah,
I mean, it'll revert to the 4-1-4-1 in the back four, so there'll be a little bit of a change from how we were against Burnley. But yeah, I'm confident they'll take what they've got out of the Burnley game and apply it to this new game. I'm relatively confident in the defence, but I hope they don't let me down.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're saying they'll move to back four. I think it'll just be Elland and Struijk, in the centre backs roles, with Dallas at right back, Alioski at left back, really, and Phillips back in his midfield position. But no, whichever formation he plays, I do have full confidence in our defensive players at the moment. After Sunday's game, it was such a solid defensive performance, on Sunday, as Liam Cooper tweeted, where it showed that we can, dig deep into the trenches and, fight our way to victory. And, defensive resilience, it showed a lot of mental resolve. And I feel as though, defensively, it's given the fans and players, a lot more confidence now after Sunday.
You'd hope so. But throughout the course of the season, we have conceded a lot. But I'm hoping the defence do take heart from the last game, because you need to do, and you need to basically focus quickly and get back on it, because you're as good as your last game. So last game out, the defence have been great, but it's a new game. It's a different challenge entirely, and I hope the defence are up for it.
Yeah, and I hope that they do take confidence. Confidence is a massive part in football, especially as a player. And when you're low in confidence, then you're not going to perform well. But when you're high in confidence, then you're going to do very well. So hopefully they do take a lot of confidence. And from that Burnley win. Pascal Struijk, a word on him. 21 years old, he's really good, isn't he? He first time playing in the Premier League. Only made 2 appearances in the first team last season. And he's doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he started at Anfield, so he has come in, prior to this game, but he's really good in the air. He has that bit of kind of neat height that you need to be a centre half. He's good in the air. He's confident. He's strong. He's great at interceptions. I do think he sometimes hesitates slightly in possession, but you can train that into players. The kind of anticipation and initiative is a little bit more, ingrained. I think he just needs a little bit more confidence and a little bit more lease of life, and he'll be slightly better on the ball. I thought some of his passing's decent, but I think sometimes he's not aware when he's under pressure. Sometimes he lets himself get under unnecessary pressure, and I think, but Bielsa will be able to drill that out of him, no problem. I think he's definitely a promising prospect at centre half.
Yeah, certainly. And, we've said it as well before. We've been doing this podcast for 2 years, and we definitely, especially in the early days of the podcast, we were saying that Struijk in the under-23s is one to watch out for. He looks a good defender. He's got the right height, the right build. He's very strong, good in the air, and he's certainly showing that he can be a good option. And at the moment with the defensive injuries, when they come back, but then if they get injured again, further down the line, all confidence in Struijk to step in and do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I do have confidence in him, and I think he's only going to get better playing more games. I've got a similar opinion on Jamie Shackleton. I think at some point you just got to say, right, to give you a run of games, see how you do.
Yeah, they'll only get better playing more first team games, because I think your point there. Sometimes he puts himself under pressure, and I think that's just because he's playing a lot of under 23s football still, and in under 23s games you get a lot more time on the ball, and I feel as though here in first team football, Premier League football, you don't get that much time on the ball, so now I think he needs to get out of his feet a lot quicker. But his distribution is quite good, definitely can improve, but I think his distribution is quite good. But no, defensively, aerially and strength wise, I think he's good. And for a 21-year-old, he's only going to get better and better. And I think Struijk is a very promising player. He's maturing, each game he plays, and definitely a very good player. And Luke Ayling, when he goes in centre back, he does a good job. And Dallas, he can play anywhere really. But no, the defence, did well on Sunday. So hopefully they can keep it up, and hopefully the defensive injuries don't cost us too much going forward. Well, let's now look ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on West Brom away at the Hawthorns on Tuesday evening. The game kicks off at 6 p.m. and is live on Amazon Prime Video. Charles, what are you expecting from this game?
A lot of possession is what's coming into my head right now. I think we'll have a lot of the ball. I think the way that Allardyce's team performed against Liverpool, they were, very, very close together, the lines. They were, compact. They were, basically encouraging, because Liverpool obviously love to cross into the box and stuff. They were encouraging Liverpool to, make aerial crosses, because they know they can deal with that easily, being an Allardyce team. And I'm expecting them to, try and hit us on the break and try to play for as many set pieces as possible. I think that's what their strategy will be. I don't want to say, I think it'll be a slightly different challenge to Burnley, because Burnley, although they play a similar, physical type of game, West Brom are even more long ball, and Burnley have a few more, talented technical players than they do, and they've got, obviously Burnley are a more established Premier League side than West Brom are. I think West Brom still have a lot of the core players that they had in the Championship, as we do in their squad, not necessarily in the starting 11, but in their squad. So, but obviously the West Brom we're playing now, with the West Brom that everyone else has played for the rest of the season, because Bilic is a far different coach to Allardyce. So I think we can, and there's still that lift they've got from getting a new manager, and the lift they get from snatching a point at Anfield. Carl, I do rate them. I do rate West Brom as a team, not as a great Premier League team. I just think they've got a few decent players in there that are performing in a bad team, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I think Carlin Grant's a good striker. He was at Huddersfield last season, got 20-odd goals. I think Sam Johnston in goal is a very decent goalkeeper for playing in a poor team. So I'm not expecting this to be a rollover whatsoever, and I think we have to treat it as probably one of the more important games in the season, because we need to kind of push them and Sheffield United as far down as possible. Well, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, so they're 10 points behind us now. So if they win, they go within 7 points behind us, and and then you're looking at that thinking, well, in 2-3 weeks it could all change. So it's definitely an important game to win. Just cement West Brom's place in the bottom three, really, for them. It is certainly. I'm not expecting another classic. Really, I'm probably be quite scrappy like the Burnley game. It's not going to be fun to watch. Really, I'm expecting it to be quite like the Liverpool game. I don't know about you. In the Liverpool game, Liverpool just had over possession, but just tried to break the flat back 10 defense of West Brom and try and defeat Sam Allardyce's dinosaur tactics. I think it's going to be very frustrating, I'd say, for Leeds.
I think to score, we're going to have to either produce a moment of individual brilliance or, pounce on a mistake effectively. Because I think they're going to be so deep and so compact and so well drilled that we're going to struggle to cut through them easily.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a tough game for Leeds United to score quite a lot of goals, certainly. But hopefully we can try and open them up and see what we can do. I mean, on paper, this should be a win. I think everything points to a Leeds United win. West Brom are 19th in the table, second from bottom after 15 games, only on 8 points, 5 points from safety. They've only won 2 games all season, only 2 games all season, drawn 5 and lost 8. They're on their second manager of the season, as you say, in Sam Allardyce, who lost 3-0 at home to Aston Villa in his first game in charge. However, on Sunday, the previous game, they did draw 1 all away at Anfield. A very good point there for them. So, yeah, we certainly can't take them too lightly. They have some players, as you say, who can cause us trouble. Matt Phillips in there, Callum Robinson, Pereira, I think is quite a good player. Charlie Austin as well. So, to do some players that can cause us a few problems when they break forward, and as well as the likes of Semi Ajayi from set pieces. Ajayi scored from a corner against Liverpool. So West Brom do have some players that could make it quite uncomfortable for us.
They do, and we have to be wary of them. I remember Ajayi at Rotherham. Was it Rotherham he was at? Where I think he got signed for about £1.5 million, and everyone thought it was a proper bargain at the time, and it probably was, to be fair. But yeah, he's a good player. They do have talent, and they've been picking up a lot of draws, and but I still think I think you're right. We do need to be beating them. We do need to be going there and getting the 3 points, because it's important to just rack up as many points against teams below you as possible, particularly teams in the bottom 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely important to for us to go win. I think if you come out of games like this without 3 points, then you're thinking, well, that's just 2 points dropped really, because we're against a poor team here. So yeah, it's definitely important to win, but yeah, it's not going to be plain sailing. It's not going to be too easy. I must correct myself from earlier. I said that West Brom are 10 points behind us. They're 12 points behind us. So definitely a bigger gap. But still, it's still an important game that you want to win, and stay away from those teams who are lower than you as much as possible. But no, they do certainly have dangerous players. It's the same set of players that drew 1 all away at Manchester City. So they don't have bad players. It's just, the manager at the moment. And, Sam Allardyce with his typical dinosaur tactics, just sitting all his men behind the ball and smashing long balls forward to some fast forwards. It's going to be, they're a hard team to break down in West Brom. And, we do tend to struggle against teams who sit back and defend like they do. So it's going to be a tough game, isn't it?
It is, and I think we're going to have to be patient for our opening. I think we've got to be clinical when that opening arrives. It would really do as well like in the Burnley game, just to get that early goal, because I think that will coax them out, and I think that'll give us the space we need to, play our game properly. I think if it's 0-0 going into the second, midway through the second half, I think they're just going to be piling men, keeping men behind the ball, keeping it extremely deep, and we're going to get frustrated and we're going to start making mistakes of our own, and we might get caught on the counter or caught on a free kick, an unnecessary free kick like the one's been going on about. So I think we've just got to be patient. But if we could get that early goal, I think that would give us a lot of assistance in the game.
Yeah, certainly. How do you see this game going? I mean, personally, I see it going one of 2 ways. We could smash them, or West Brom could nick a point, a 0-0, 1 all, or maybe even a 1-0. How do you see this game going?
I think it'll be a 1-0 either way if someone's going to win it. Yeah. I think it'll be a 1-0 to us. I'm going to back us.
Yeah, I think it's going to be low scoring, to be honest. What's the lineup for you? Would you leave it unchanged from the Burnley game, or would you make changes? I mean, we're predicting that it's going to go to back four because West Brom only play one up front. But personnel wise, would you just keep it the same?
I don't know. I don't think Bielsa would do this, but I personally would give Shackleton a run out centre mid. But I think Bielsa will keep it exactly the same.
Yeah, I can't see Bielsa doing that change, but I agree with you. I think it'd be nice to see Shackleton get one out in the team and let Click rest for quite a while because he's not been out of the team for years, really. The first team in the league, he's not had a rest from league football for since he joined, really. So, since Bielsa arrived. So, it's not. It would be nice to see Shackleton, get a run out, but I can't see Bielsa making too many changes. Well, moving on to Leeds United's record against West Brom. We've only played West Brom twice in the Premier League in season 2002-03. We won 3-1 away at West Brom and drew 0-0 at home. Leeds, though, are, of course, unbeaten in the last 3 meetings, 2 wins and 1 draw, 1 4-0 and 1-0 at home, and then drew 1-1 away at West Brom on New Year's Day this year. So, we have a decent record against West Brom, but can you see us winning here? You said 1-0. Is that your score prediction, 1-0 to Leeds?
I'm backing us 1-0.
Yeah, so am I. I'm going to go 1-0 to Leeds United as well. Yeah, hopefully Leeds United can pick up the 3 points on Tuesday evening, and hopefully Leeds United can finish 2020 on a high. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 83 of the All Things Leeds podcast. Thank you very much, as always, to Charles Foster for joining me remotely, of course.
Thanks for having me on, mate.
No worries. Take care of yourself, mate, and we'll catch up again in a few days. We will be back with another episode later in the week before the new year. But yeah, thank you, of course, to everyone who has listened or watched this episode. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed, then make sure to subscribe and follow, or whatever platform you are currently on. Make sure to share it around as well. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Follow All Things Leeds on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search All Things Leeds 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Search All Things Leeds on Facebook. And subscribe to your YouTube channel as well. But as I say, Charles and I will be back later on in the week. So for now, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.